Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bibbidi Bobbidi Books. My name is Ellie and today I thought it would be fun to film another book haul because I seem to have acquired a few more books since I last did a haul. I mean, I just keep hearing so many fantastic reviews online and on booktube, and apparently I just have no self-control when it comes to books. But no, in all seriousness, a lot of these books are ones that I've been really excited to get to and have finally made the plunge. So yes, I'm so excited to talk to you about these books. I really hope that you enjoy this video. And without further ado, I'm just going to jump straight in and start showing you what I got. So the first book that I'm very excited to show you is actually one that I put on my most anticipated books of 2022 video. And yes, of course, I am so excited to get to this one. This is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. This is Su Lin Tan's debut novel, and I just think this sounds absolutely fantastic. So this book is inspired by the Chinese legend of the Moon Goddess, and in this book we're following the Moon Goddess's daughter, who is a woman called Xing Yin, and she is being hidden from the celestial emperor on the moon, and then one day her powers flare and that causes her existence to become noticed, and she's forced to flee her home and to leave her mother, and the story kind of takes off from there. This just sounds so wonderful. It says on the back here that it's a lush, dreamy gem of a novel, that is strikingly evocative. It also says that it takes a beloved Chinese legend and reimagines it into a gloriously spun romantic fantasy. That just sounds so gorgeous. I hear as well that it's supposed to be quite like a fairy tale in the way that it's written, which sounds right up my street. And yeah, what a gorgeous cover as well. I was completely drawn in by this cover when I first saw it as well. I think the floral design is absolutely stunning, and I just think this is going to be a whole lot of fun, and I really can't wait to get to this one. Hopefully soon, but I mean, I've got a lot of books that I really want to get to, so it's going to be so hard to pick. The next book that I want to show you is one that's actually been very big on TikTok and also on Bookstagram and on BookTube, so I'm sure you've probably heard of this one before. But this is Neon Gods by Katie Robert. So this is a Hades and Persephone retelling. It's an urban fantasy and it's set in modern day, and honestly all I've heard about this is that it's incredibly spicy. And I recently read a Hades and Persephone retelling called A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett Sinclair, and I had fun with that book, but there were a few things that just didn't quite work for me in terms of the world building and in terms of the characters. And I've seen quite a lot of people online comparing A Touch of Darkness with this book, and a lot of people seem to say that this book is a lot more expansive in its fantasy elements, and so for that reason I'm just really excited to get to this one. And yeah, to be honest, I just still have that craving for a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I just feel like my itch hasn't quite been scratched after reading A Touch of Darkness. But let's give the blurb a little bit of a read. So it says on the back here: Society darling Persephone Demetrio plans to escape the ultramodern city of Olympus and start over far from the backstabbing politics of the 13 houses. But all that's ripped away when her mother ambushes her with an engagement to Zeus, the dangerous power behind their glittering city's facade. With no options left, Persephone flees the forbidden undercity and makes a devil's bargain with a man she once believed a myth, a man who awakens her to a world she never knew existed. Hades has spent his life in shadows, and he has no intention of stepping into the light. But when he finds that Persephone can offer a little slice of revenge he's spent years craving, it's all the excuse he needs to help her for a price. Yet every breathless night spent tangled together has given Hades a taste for Persephone, and he'll go to war with Olympus itself to keep her close. So the next book I'm super excited to talk to you about. This book I actually came across from the channel Allison Pages, because this was actually her favourite book that she read last year. She even went and got a tattoo of the book on her body. That's how much she loved this book. So I mean, I've just got to find out why it's so good, and yes, I decided to finally take the plunge this month. So this book is Lonely Castle in the Mirror, and it's written by Mizuki Sugimura. I'm really sorry if I pronounced that name wrong. How gorgeous is this cover, firstly? So in this book we follow our main character, who is a young girl who ends up finding this magical mirror when she's avoiding school, and this mirror transports her and a few friends to this magical castle which is being ruled by a wolf queen, and the wolf queen sets them on a task to try and find this magical key which will grant the finder one wish. However, as soon as the wish has been granted, the magic castle will vanish forever, along with all memories of its existence and any adventures that have been had there. So yes, I am very excited to get to this one. I hear that it's incredibly moving, it's got great friendship dynamics in there, and it's been described by Alison as kind of like a Studio Ghibli movie in a book, which just sounds fantastic and also quite different to a lot of books that I've read recently. So yeah, I can't wait to get to this one, and hopefully I enjoy it as much as she did, because she made it sound so fantastic. So yes, super excited for this one. Okay, so the next books that I want to talk to you about are actually all from the same series, because I ended up buying a box set. I got the first 5 books in the Dresden Files series by Jim Butcher. Now the reason why I got these is because this is actually my partner's favourite book series, or one of his favourite book series anyway, and he has been pestering me for the longest time to get to these books. He has read them all on audio, or nearly all of them. I think he's only got 1 or 2 books left. It's a very big series. I think there's 17 books that have currently been published, so I've got a long way to catch up. But yes, I promised him that I would start this series this year, and he's also wanting to collect all of the physical books, so I thought I would start our collection with these first 5. So this series starts with Stormfront, which I have actually read already. I will be properly reviewing this in my next video that I'm going to upload next week, because I'm going to be doing a reading wrap up of all the books that I read in the first 2 months of the year. So I won't spend too long on this one now, but essentially in these books we follow our main character Harry Dresden, who is a private investigator, and he also just so happens to be Chicago's only professional wizard. And so he ends up working alongside Chicago PD's special investigations team when there is a particularly unusual murder that seems to have something supernatural going on. And it seems to me that each book follows a different case, but from what I've heard from my partner, the series in general tends to move away from the kind of detective noir type genre and places more emphasis on the fantasy side and also the wider supernatural world as we go through the series. So yeah, I'm very excited to kind of see where things go, and I'm here for the journey. I know that this has got a very big fan base. A lot of people really love this series, and yeah, I can't wait to get into it and read more of these books. Okay, so the next book that I want to show you is a middle grade book. So I actually really enjoy middle grade stories. I know I'm 29, but I do enjoy children's books, and I just find them a really fantastic way to break up your reading, particularly if you read a lot of kind of heavy fantasy books like I do. And also there's just something so magical and whimsical and uplifting about a middle grade story, and I just feel like people of all ages can usually relate to them. So yes, I'm always on the hunt for good middle grade books, and I keep hearing people go on about this series. I know that it's a lot of people's favourite ever middle grade series, so I just really wanted to try it for myself. So I treated myself to the first book in the Keeper of the Lost Cities series, written by Shannon Messenger. So yeah, this is the first book. Honestly, I don't know a huge amount about this one. I'm going purely off other people's recommendations. All I know is that we follow a 12-year-old girl called Sophie, who is a telepath, and I think she doesn't really fit in with school, and she doesn't really fit in with the people around her, and she ends up meeting this mysterious boy called Fitz, who appears out of nowhere, and he can also read minds like she can. And so she obviously connects with him, and then I think she ends up going away from her home. She's forced to leave everything behind and to start a new life in a place that's vastly different from her own. So yeah, it sounds intriguing. It's quite a long series. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books out so far. So another very long series to get into. But yeah, I hope this is going to be really fun. I know a lot of people love this. So yeah, very exciting. Okay, so the next book is an oldie but goldie here on BookTube, and that is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas. So this is the prequel to Sarah J Maas's Throne of Glass series, which is a YA series that is much beloved here on BookTube, but I've never actually read. And I did actually put this series on my 30 books to read before 30 video that I made, because I just really want to get to this series, because I really enjoy Sarah Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses series and also her Crescent City series, and so I think I'm going to really enjoy this one. And I've also heard people say that there might be hints to some kind of crossover between all of Sarah Maas's series, so I just really want to be able to kind of notice those crossovers if they exist, and for that reason I want to go back and read her first series. So yeah, I'm very excited about this one. Honestly, I don't know a huge amount about this other than we follow an assassin, I think. Is it called Selena? I don't want to know too much about this before I go in because I don't want any spoilers, but I'm hoping for a really fun, angsty YA series. And speaking of Sarah Maas, the final book that I wanted to show you is a new release that recently arrived. In fact, it came just yesterday in the post, so I'm very excited about it. And this is the second book in the Crescent City series. This is House of Sky and Breath, book 2. I'm not sure if this is going to be a trilogy or what, but yes, I am very excited to get to this one. I read House of Earth and Blood when it first came out. Was that last year or the year before? Can't remember now, the years are all blurring into one. But yeah, I read it when it came out and I did really enjoy it, so I'm very excited to get to the second one. It's chunky, so I'm a little bit intimidated if I'm being honest, but hopefully this is going to be as good as the first book. I'm sure you have probably heard of this series before, but if you haven't, the first book follows our main character Bryce Quinlan, who is a half fae, half human woman, and she ends up getting tangled up in this murder investigation which she has personal connections to, and she starts to kind of investigate the murder and try and uncover what happened. And because it is such a high profile and dangerous case, she ends up being assigned to this bodyguard called Hunt Athalar, who is actually a fallen angel. And yeah, I don't know, it's really hard to explain the series because so much happens. It becomes very expansive. It's a very big fantasy world. There's lots of different fantasy races, there's lots of politics going on, and basically the first book gets more and more exciting and thrilling as Bryce and Hunt uncover more secrets as they delve deeper into the underbelly of the city. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's also very steamy. We've got some really great sex scenes in there and a lot of great romance, as we've come to expect from Sarah J Maas, so I'm hoping that that will continue in this book. And yeah, I can't wait to get to this one. But yeah, as I say, I am feeling slightly intimidated because it is absolutely massive, but yeah, gorgeous artwork on there as well. And that brings me to the end of this video. Those are all of the books that I ended up picking up this month. I am now on a book buying ban. I need to rein it in and not get overexcited because I've got so many fantastic books that I'm very, very excited to get to now. So yeah, I'm super excited for the reading year ahead. Please let me know if you've read any of these books or if you're thinking of picking up any of these books, because I'd love to chat with you in the comments. And yeah, I guess I will see you next time with another video. Bye!